हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Gyan Timirajasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschakya Deshkatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyayevascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikakanta Radhakanta Namosute Tapata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for having us today in this wonderful town of Crawley. And we literally crawled here. Our friend Anil Prabhu was driving at 20 kilometers an hour speed in this, because we came to a route which was, and being from Bombay, I'm not used to being driving slow. We just learned to drive things fast. But anyway, we are here together. You know, it just shows, my dear friends, that the whole journey may be very, very tormenting, but the destination is very, very wonderful. And that's what keeps us going, isn't it? In the journey to the spiritual world may be very tormenting. We are all going through difficulties, we are all going through traffic jams in our lives, we are all going through various speed limits, speed breakers, potholes, whatever things we experience in our lives. But we carry on doing whatever we do, right? We sometimes feel very troubled, but coming here in this Bhakti, what is it called? Bhakti Yoga? Center. Bhakti Yoga Center at Crawley, seeing all of you wonderfully chanting, is all worth it, isn't it? It's all worth the whole effort. So that was very wonderful. So today, Shyam Govind Prabhu, asked us to speak about Krishna consciousness in family life and in the community living. That you are building a very beautiful community here, so many devotees are coming, a beautiful center here. How can we take advantage and how can we really grow in this beautiful community of Krishna consciousness? And it is a predominant, or rather it is a 100% Grihastha based community, as I understand. Obviously I can see everybody is Grihastha.
Probably a few potential brahmacharis here, maybe.
He's indicating something to you. You understand?
Hare Krishna. So as we understand that, as per Srimad Bhagavad Gita and our Vedic scripture, there are 4 varnas and 4 ashrams. Brahmachari ashram, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas, and 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So this division of society is basically made so that a human being, going through this 4 varnas and 4 ashram, actually evolves himself or herself. Because a jiva soul, as per particular desire, and whatever activities he or she has done in a previous life, you get this human body. And in this human body, through this Vedic culture, you actually grow, you advance to a higher destination, right? We all understand that animals don't inquire. Or animals actually, if we sometimes see, I discuss sometimes with newcomers that, have you ever seen that a lion committed suicide because lion has ran away with somebody? Or have you seen that all parrots are sitting in a stress management seminar? Or have you heard that a dog has started smoking because it's not happy? No. But we are hearing human beings doing that. Because human beings are meant to do something else, but they are heading towards something else. Suppose a farmer in India gets a Mercedes-Benz car in lottery. And he comes back to his house and then he thinks of using Mercedes-Benz car for farming. And people tell me, what will happen if the farmer uses a Mercedes-Benz car for farming? It will break. What else? Tell me three things.
It won't be useful.
It won't be useful. So he will not be able to do farming, right? If he cannot do farming, he doesn't grow his crop, doesn't get money. What will be the third thing?
You'll be depressed.
He will be depressed. What is Mercedes-Benz car supposed to be used for? Luxury, traveling, if their family, right? Similarly, this human body is one of the best models created by Lord Brahma and Lord Krishna for the living attitude travel. If you don't use it for the right purpose, Mercedes-Benz car is supposed to be used for traveling. Instead of that, the farmer is using for farming. So if you don't use this human body for the higher purpose, what will happen? Breakdown. Body will break down. Second, as Prabhuji mentioned, for what purpose the body is given, it is not achieved. And that's why, what is the third thing? Depression, stress, anxiety, psychological problems, right? So human body in this human life is meant to advance. Vedic culture. How many of you make yogurt at home? I think here everybody gets ready-made, but you have seen how they make culture? Yogurt? Yeah? You take milk and then you add a little yogurt and next day morning. So culture. Culture is where the organism grows. So human life through this varnashram is meant for growing in spiritual life. Remember the example of the Mercedes-Benz car. This body is actually the vehicle so that the Jiva soul who is where we are living in this body, we have the opportunity to grow through Varna and Ashram. Now when we sing Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, how many Panchatattvas are there? 5. Okay, very good. Can you tell me the names? Okay. Nityananda, Advaitacharya, Gadadhar Pandit and Srivastava. So out of these 5, how many are Grihasthas? How many are Grihasthas? Advaitacharya, Grihastha or Brahmachari? Grihastha. Srivas Thakur? Grihastha. Nityananda Prabhu? Grihastha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? First 24 hours Grihastha, then? And Gadadhar Pandit? Sannyasi. So out of 5, you can say 3.5 are actually Grihasthas. And not only they were practicing their own Krishna consciousness, if you analyze each one of them, they were engaged in spreading the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya at that time, seeing the condition of all living entities, he prayed to the Shaligram Shila offering Ganges water and tulsi. And what was his prayer? My dear Lord Krishna, please descend and help me to deliver these people on this planet. So Advaita Acharya, his spirit was, we are discussing all these 5 grihasthas, and what was their main spirit? They were not only practicing their Krishna consciousness very intensely, but what was their mood? Now we have already got the path to go back to Godhead, but we want to bring more and more on this path. Nityananda Prabhu, he was a grihastha, and his primary duty was to preach. Right? He preached to so many different people like Jagai, Madai, so many he converted. Srivas Thakur, he was a grihastha, and his house was completely open. Every night, kirtans. And all the devotees would come together and sing the glories of the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, he gave up his grihastha ashram only for spreading the Krishna consciousness movement. So his name was Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness. So as this grihasthas, they were not only powerful practitioners of bhakti, but they always desired to expand the mission. Why? Because they knew that we are already back on this path, but we want to take as many more we can take with us.
So we have a very interesting, very nice bhajan. It says, Grihe tako, vane tako, sada hari bole tako, suke duke brunako, sada hari naam korore. The first line is what we are going to be focusing upon. That Grihe tako, vane tako, that whether you are in household life or you are a renunciant, there is no difference. So many years back, His Holiness, Bhakti Tirtha Swami came to a temple, and he gave a beautiful understanding with a beautiful example to understand the difference between the grihastha life and the renounced life. I think few of you are trying to be brahmachari. It should be interesting to know, right? And even if you are not, but still it is good to know, right? So he gave an example that when we go, all of us travel, we go to the airports, and they said typically in the airport you find 2 types of travelers. One is the very light traveler. He just had a single bag, he just zipped through everything, and one is a very heavy traveler with loads of bags. If you have 20 kilos, 2 bags, 4 people, many of us make sure that we have those 4. Yes, I think everybody is laughing because we are all in that category. I think, we love to we have so many bags. And the typical sight is the bags are there, we put the bags are falling, the children are sitting on the bag. It's a fun, right? We have 2 types of travelers. And one traveler just zips through it and just no checking luggage, just cabin luggage. So one is, so he described that the renounced life or the brahmacharya life is like the light traveler. No baggages. And the grihastha life is like the heavy traveler. Huge baggages. But he didn't end there. He said, let's now understand the psychology of these 2 types of travelers. The one guy is traveling very light. So he has no baggages. He has the ease of travel. Right? But he could be, not that he will be, but he could be in anxiety that if suppose the flight gets delayed, I miss my flight, I don't have any food to eat, I don't have enough clothes to wear, I'm traveling very light, I don't have things to really take care of myself. But the heavy traveler is I can fill the whole flight with it. Our bars and our everybody, all of us, even me. And when we travel, we have enough food, not for ourselves also, but for the whole flight. If they decide not to give it, I said, we have enough. On the lighter side, we are saying this, but here we have enough things to take care, enough warm clothes, enough food, everything is there, right? So he was explaining that a brahmachari may, and please focus on the word may, not that he will. He may be in anxiety that who will take care of me when things are not okay with me, if I fall sick. But a grihastha, he has the security that, I have my family, I have my insurance, I have my bank balance, I have my business and everything, and I will be taken care of. So it's a trade-off. With the light traveler, you have some anxiety as part of it. And with the heavy traveler, you have the ease of you have the baggage of travel, but you have peace of mind. But the interesting thing is, both are traveling to the same destination. Isn't it interesting? There's no difference. They both are going back to Godhead. They all are aiming to go back to Godhead. So it is just that a grihastha and a brahmachari, the distinction between this ashram is based on the quality of renunciation. A grihastha, he has things to really in his house, and a brahmachari or a sannyasi may not have those items or those things or those facilities in one sense. But a grihastha is an ashram which supports all the three ashrams, and that is the beautiful service of the grihastha ashram. That the way it is designed by Krishna, Chatur Varnam Maya Svishtam Guna Karma Vibhakasha Samstatasa Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. Very nice, important verse. The Chatur Varnam Maya Svishtam, the four arnas, the four ashramas, whether you are a brahmachari, kshatriya, brahmachari, grihastha, varnasa, sannyas, or you are brahman, kshatriya, vaishya or shudra. Chatur Varnam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. They are divided into based on guna and karma. But the main important thing is Swarustadasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. It is the whole purpose of all the ashram is Haritoshanam, is to satisfy the Lord. The aim of all the ashram is to satisfy the Lord. To see, as Kishori mentioned, the whole purpose is to see how we can be part of the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sankirtan means we are all working together. I was giving an example yesterday that what does Sankirtan mean in simple words. We had a mridang playing, we had a kartal playing, and somebody was singing. Right? If mridanga goes this side, out of beat, kartal goes out of beat, and singer is singing something else, the whole thing will be very, very disturbing. So Sankirtan is all about everybody working in unison for the glory of the Lord. Right? So that is a beautiful way that Bhaktivedanta Maharaj explained, and I think we can very clearly understand that with the responsibilities that a grihastha has comes the amazing facility for devotional service. Right? And for example, I was just told in 2017, you all bought this beautiful facility. And whatever, under mortgage or whatever. But it was this wonderful charitably disposed people who obviously came forward, am I right, Shyam Govind Prabhu? That who said, we want to have something for the community. They came, and now we have a facility to really preach Krishna consciousness. So that's the wonderful thing of Grihastha Ashram.
The point which Prabhuji mentioned, that what is important is some Siddhi Haritoshanam. That whatever we do in our life, whether it is our profession, our education, our services, ultimately it should be pleasing to the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. Because if it is for the pleasure of the Lord, then that activity becomes Bhakti Yoga. Then that activity doesn't remain for yourself. That activity becomes actually for pleasure of the Lord, then it is perfect. We had recently a war-like situation in India. A soldier who is fighting at the border, and when he kills the enemy soldiers, he gets medals, rewards, chakras, different chakras. But the same soldier comes home and argues with the neighbor, and in a heated argument he murders the neighbor. What happens? Behind the bar. Activity is same. Activity is same. There he is also killing people. Here also he is killing people. So for whose pleasure you are doing, it is very important. This body which we have, the facilities which we have by the mercy of the Lord, for whom we are using, It is very important. That one thing we should remember, that whatever we do, whether it is pleasing to the Lord or not, that we must find out. And how do we do that? The Acharyas have given us a simple process. The Prabhupada has given us a simple process. Right from the morning till night, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following 4 principles, sadhana, very strict sadhana. If you analyze the life of a Grihastha and a life of a Brahmachari, if you see both of them, what do? If you see, analyze the life of a Brahmachari, in the morning they get up, they are in the temple, they attend Mangala Aarti, then Tulsi Aarti, Narasimha Aarti, Japa, Bhagavatam class, Guru Puja. And after 9:30, they are busy doing their services. And again in the evening there is a class, Bhagavad Gita class, and they eat prasad and they sleep. So if a Grihastha, he really is very spiritually advanced and he wants to please the Lord. What is most important for him? To devote his morning time for his sadhana. If we also as a Grihastha in the morning time have a Mangala Aarti, finish chanting in the morning, hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping Tulsi Devi, worshipping spiritual master, then afterwards 9 to 5 they also work, we also work. So even you are in the Grihastha ashram, but you can achieve the same destination by utilizing your morning period for your strict sadhana. For a Grihastha, a very important aspect of sadhana is Shravana, hearing. Many times we see that we are not hearing enough. Nasta prayashu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Srimata Sumana Krishna. So many different shlokas that when you hear the glories of Lord Krishna, the glories of his devotees, what does it do? It slowly purifies us. The material ego, the false ego, actually the living entity is connected to the material nature through the false ego. That knot. It's a glue. As soon as the creation happens, the first thing is false ego. Living entity is spiritual, false ego is material. So living entity is covered with false ego. And that's a Hriday Granthi. Prabhupada explains it's a knot. But when we hear the pure spiritual sound vibration, it makes the knot loose and slowly and steadily cuts off the knot.
How many times have we all experienced that we hear, but we can hardly retain anything? How many of you feel that? Oh, yeah, I heard. And many times we come from a class, right? And we say, oh, what a beautiful class. And somebody asks, what was the class? Oh, yeah, what was the class? So we all have a great experience, but retaining is a problem. Don't worry, it is not a problem. And I'll explain to you with a beautiful story. That the power of hearing and the power of regular hearing, that's what Kishori mentioned, to regularly nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Bhagavatir uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki. To establish bhakti in your heart as an irrevocable fact. How do we do it? By regularly hearing, every day if possible. So there was a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he had a serious health issues that nothing that he would eat would be retained in the body, would just pass through his motions and vomit. So he was really in a serious diarrhea problem, and it was there for days. And then he happened to meet his guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, "This is the problem here." They say, "You know what? You should take this much quantity of ghee every day." So that person said, "Ghee? I mean, not even water is getting retained in the body. What to talk of ghee? I mean, ghee will cause everything will be completely, nothing will be retained." He said, "No, just do what I say. Take a little quantity of ghee every day." I said, "Fine." So he tried taking ghee. Of course, nothing could remain. It was just, drained out of the body. But he did it because as a service to his guru. It didn't make any sense to him. Many times the instruction of guru doesn't make sense. We just do it and see the result, right? How many of us experience that? It doesn't make sense. What is he talking? Let's do it. So he did it. After 15 days, he started getting some strength. He was still having an issue, but he started getting some strength. Otherwise, he was so weak. Then his guru explained. I said, see, please understand, why do you take ghee? Ghee is very sticky. When you take something, even though 95% is just drained out, 5% sticks to your system because it's sticky. And over days that you have been taking, there was something getting retained, and that was giving you the energy, and that was making you slowly strong. And with a little strength, your body is able to fight and go back to normalcy in due course. Now, what is that connection to the hearing? I said the knowledge of the Gita, the knowledge of the Bhagavad, the knowledge of Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very, very thick, the most nectarian, thick substance of the Lord's pastimes. It is very sticky, very, the solid, as you say, the malai. Okay, malai, milk is there, but the top cream, that's a cream of spiritual understanding. So if you hear 95% just goes, it's just evaporated, the moment you step out, it's all gone. But something sticks to you. And a regular hearing makes you stronger and stronger. And the wonderful thing is, you may forget now the details, but it will come to your rescue, it will come to your help when you really need it. And you might not remember the exact verses for that matter, or the exact words used by the speaker, but the intent, the purpose, or the understanding, or the application of what you heard will come to your rescue. And that's exactly what makes Grihastha ashram ashram where we need to hear, because otherwise there are so many diversions and disturbances in our life. Money, I had to stay with family life. Ato Kriya Kshetra Sutta Apta Vidya Janasamho Hammameti. Right? Prahlad Maharaj says these are the distractions in married life. Ato Kriya Kshetra Sutta. So Idhana Yovana Putra Parijana Itikiyache Paratitire Kamala Talajala Jivana Talamala Baju Hari Padanitire. That Idhana, the wealth, Yovan, youth, Putra, family life, Parijana, relatives, they are all there. And it can cause you bondage. It can cause you bondage. It's not that it will cause you bondage. It could cause you bondage. But if you hear, and you know that, okay, we have to use everything in Krishna's service. Everything is a wonderful, we are not the owners of whatever we have. What are we? We are trustees. A Grihastha lives like a trustee. What is the difference between a trustee and an owner? An owner thinks that he owns it and he can use it the way he or she wants. But a trustee says, you know what? I have the power to decide what to do with it, but it's a power which is endowed by me from the higher people. And I have to be very, very careful of utilizing what I have. So Grihastha is a wonderful trustee to use. And Krishna has given you your wealth, your family, your education, your the relationships that you have with people, and how you can use it in Krishna's service is the wonderful aspect of Grihastha ashram.
So when we hear, what happens when we hear different pastimes, subtly it nourishes our intelligence. Like when you hear a pastime of Sridhara Kolavich, and how Sridhar Kolovich was growing bananas and he was selling banana leaves and banana flowers, and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a small young Nimai would come and argue with Sridhar Kolovich and many times steal away everything. And how when during Mahaprakash Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked that please get Sridhar Kolovich. So when you hear such pastimes, your intelligence gets nourished. Your intelligence becomes powerful. And a particular type of intelligence which becomes more strong is Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi is power of discrimination. What is good for me and what is not good for me. What is good for my Krishna consciousness, what is not good for my Krishna consciousness. What is favorable for my Krishna consciousness, what is unfavorable for my Krishna consciousness. Because as a Grihastha, it is our duty to go out and make money, interact with the material energy, whether we like or don't like. Right? So when we are interacting with the material energy, outsiders who are not devotees, at that point of time it is very important for us to be very conscious that whether this association will help you to grow in Krishna consciousness or this association may take you away from Krishna consciousness. Srila Bhakti Thakur explains very beautifully that when you go out to buy vegetables, okay, to the vendors, here or there, most of the stalls, but you don't start loving the vendor. You just go there, you pick up your vegetables, you pay your money and get out from there. Similarly, as Grihastha, when we are going out in the world to our jobs or businesses to make money, Bhakti Thakur says be very conscious that you don't start loving things which the other people are doing. In fact, you have the opportunity that these people in the world, they can come in contact with Krishna consciousness only through you. Right? You are one sitting amongst them who is a devotee who understands this process of Krishna consciousness. So they should be getting your association. You should be giving your association to them and trying to attract them to Krishna consciousness. Not that you getting attracted to them and giving up Krishna consciousness. And that's where actually regular hearing helps. As soon as you get up in the morning, please make sure now we have this wonderful device, each one of us. And you can hear as soon as you get up. Right? Previously we used to hear that all the great kings, when in the morning the Brahmanas would come and they would start reciting different shlokas from the scriptures and sing bhajans and wake them up. Each one of us has become a king now because of our mobile phones. Whatever we want, we can just put in the morning and hear. Because it is said that as per neuroscience, first 20 minutes in the morning, whatever you hear, that makes the frame of mind for the rest of the day. So if you heard some beautiful bhajan, if you heard some beautiful class, then it is very easy for you for the entire day to be Krishna conscious. So whenever it is possible, try to hear. And when you are hearing, it will help others also. There was one family, the daughter became Krishna conscious first, then her parents also became devotees, but the son was not becoming a devotee. And Mataji would always ask the sannyasi and her guru that, please, how can he become a devotee? Please bless him, please bless him. And Maharaj said, no, just give him your love. But Mataji, what she would do is that every morning, as soon as she would get up, she would chant, she would start playing the lectures. And son was actually not very favorable. He was very adamant. But knowingly or unknowingly what was happening, he was also listening to the lecture because it was played loudly. And as the time passed, 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, he became a wonderful devotee. So we cannot underestimate the power of process of hearing. So and he himself is such a great, his wife, children, everybody is a devotee. So many times, right, we want our family members to come to Krishna consciousness. So one way is feeding prasad, and second way is make sure that they hear.
So we will speak about a very, very wonderful story today. And we will not only hear a story, as I said, when we hear Krishna Katha, it purifies you. So we are going to get purified by hearing the story. But it will be very, very interesting to learn something beautiful about the Grihastha Dharma from the story. And this is again a story about one of the very, very great associates of Lord Chaitanya. We have Lord God Nitai here, so let's glorify them. Right? So this is during the Navati pastime. We did mention his name. His name was Srivas Thakur. Right? He was a great devotee of the Lord, Grihastha. He had and his place. I think how many of you have been to Sridam Mayapur? Few of you have been, and please, those who have not been, please do go. It is a beautiful place. So Shiva's we have one of the biggest temples coming up in the form of the Temple of Vedic Planetarium in the world, by the way. And just nearby, there's a beautiful his house by the name Shiva's Angan. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said that he would have his kirtans in Shiva's Angan. Like all of you have your house, but you all congregate here to have your kirtans and everything, right? So everybody would be staying in different houses around, but they would come and stay, and they would come where? They would come at the house of Shiva's Thakur, Shiva's Angan, and they would make amazing kirtans. And then one day, they would kirtan throughout the day, by the way. So one day, the Lord said, we should not waste our time in the night. What is the use of sleeping in the night? Why should we waste our time in the night by sleeping? We should use the night also in doing kirtan of the Lord. Now, what we are trying to learn from this is not that we don't have to sleep in the night. I'm sure if I tell you that, many of you will believe as this guy is crazy. What the hell is talking? So the purpose is, it's not that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is indicating that you don't sleep in the night, but to optimally use your time in Krishna's service is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching us. But at that point in time, he specifically said, for the next 1 year, we will have only also night kirtans. Why should we waste our time? And then everybody would come in the night. Not everybody, Father. It was a very, very selected people that you were allowed to join Shiva's Thakur's nice kirtan. They would have amazing kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. You would have somebody like this playing beautiful rhythm also there. And it was a beautiful environment. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt that people said, Kirtan should bring about a lot of happiness. I feel people are unhappy. Is something happened here? So he asked Shiva Thakur, is something inauspicious that has happened in this house? Because I feel in my heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Chaitanya Guru. He is a super soul. He felt that there was something wrong. So Shiva Thakur said, no, in your presence, my Lord, how can there be anything inauspicious in this house? And then some devotees came and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Shiva Thakur's son has died. And Shiva Thakur went inside, he came to know his son has died. He told his wife and his family members that I know it is very, very sad that our son has died in a very, very untimely way. But please do not cry loudly. If you people cry loudly and you are going to disturb the kirtan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am going to leave this house. Nothing can be more auspicious than our son dying in the presence of the Lord. That was his disposition. Of course, let us not understand that he was hard-hearted. He was not. And we will understand it as we go further. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Srivas, what sort of love you have for me? As a Grihastha, what sort of love and dedication you have that your son has died and you are not even telling me and you are not feeling. I said, oh my Lord, what can be more? There cannot be anything more auspicious than, yes, it is very sad that he has died. But if at all he had to die based on his karma, then cannot be a better time when all of you are present in my house. He said, take me to your son. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to his son's body was lying there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched him. He said, rise, O young boy, why have you left us untimely? And the child rose from the dead. He rose from the dead and he started talking. He rose and he started talking. I said, why have you left your family? I said, which family? Which father? I said, I have got many fathers and mothers. Which father are you talking about? That's what we all need to understand. That we get so very closely attached to our family, which is good. But we have got multiple families in the last so many lifetimes. And we just start identifying with this family because that's what we know. Everything else we do not know. And there was a beautiful conversation between the Lord and the child. And the child said, at this point in time, I feel myself most blessed that I have left my body in your presence. So please let me go further to on my onward journey. And the Lord blessed him, and he again dropped dead. And of course, they did his last rites. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Srivas, what sort of dedication you have as a Grihastha for me? And he said, Srivas, how do you earn your money? How do you support your family? Because I see that throughout the day you are with me in Kirtan, and now in the night also you do Kirtan. So what do you do with the family? It's a question, right? Many times we wonder, we have to make money, we have to earn, I have to run my shop, I have to do my job. He asked Srivas Thakur that what dedication you have. This is the Lord himself asking Srivas. I said, how do you really maintain your family? And what did he say? He didn't say anything. He just clapped 3 times. Please. So everybody was wondering what sort of cryptic reply is this? Is it the Lord again? Srivas, I'm asking you, how do you maintain your family? And again he clapped 3 times. I said, can you please explain, give purport to your 3 claps? I said, my dear Lord, I have complete faith in you. That if I am serving you, and that you will provide yoga kshema vahamyaham. Krishna says in the Gita, I supply what you have and carry what you, I carry what you have and supply what you lack. So he said, I clap 3 times and whatever I need, I get provided. Of course, don't imitate him. Huh? You can keep on clapping, but nothing will happen. Because it is not that nothing will happen, it is just the quality of our faith is not of that type. He said, I simply clap 3 times and whatever I need, the Lord provides me. That's the type of faith he had. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made a brilliant statement. What a statement. He said, the type of faith you have in the Lord, Srivas. He said, even if the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, becomes such a pauper that she has to go door to door to beg, if that day does happen, can it happen? But even if that day does happen that Lakshmi has to go door to beg because she has lost what she had, all the money. But your house will have abundant wealth. Shri Srivas Thakur ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki. So your house will have abundant wealth. Now, of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita are superlative examples of devotees having such superlative dedication. You understand superlative, right? The most highest. But what you derive, as I said, he wanted to do night kirtans. Now that doesn't mean that we translate that we should do night kirtans. But similarly, what does it mean that a grihastha should work hard, but ultimately have faith in the Lord? Because the cause of your work is not the cause of your maintenance. Think about this statement. The cause of your work is not the cause of your maintenance. You can work, but who provides ultimately? Who provides? The Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha. What is the next line? Exactly. What is the last 2 words you will just said? Sarva Karana Karanam. So the cause of our family maintenance, not just yours but mine and every one of us, the family maintenance is the Lord. So as grihasthas, we simply have to have faith in the Lord. And yes, I want to karmane vadikaraste ma phale sukadachana ma karma phale duru mate sargostu karmani. Then I must perform my duty, Krishna says. Not that you just sit and keep on clapping. That's not the purpose of life. But you need to perform a duty, but you need to have faith that Krishna will provide whatever you need to have.
So the most important aspect for the Grihastha ashram and the community is having excellent sadhana. And the second aspect is seva. Seva is equally important. Because what happens when we serve the Lord or when we serve the devotees? Again, what happens when we serve the Lord? Samsiddhi haritoshanam. We have a beautiful example from Srimad Bhagavatam. That Krishna, Balram and all his friends, they were playing in the forest and suddenly they became very hungry. And when they were asking Lord Krishna that, please Krishna, we are very hungry. And Krishna says, nearby there are these brahmanas who are performing this yajna. And they have a lot of prasad. Go and ask them. So the boys went and asked the brahmana, said, hey, go away. This is all for our yajna. Krishna is yajna bhug, yajna pati, yajneshwar. But they were not ready to give that to Krishna. So they came back, they were very upset. And then Krishna told, okay, now you go to their wives. So immediately the boys went to the wives, Brahman Patnis, Yajnik Patnis, that can you please give some prasad for Krishna and Balaram, they are playing nearby. And they immediately, whatever bhoga they had prepared for the yajna, they said, we will give you this and we will come with you. So they took all the bhoga and they carried and they went to Krishna. And the cowherd boys were asking, how do you know Krishna and Balaram? So whenever we went to buy something in the market, the Vraja gopis, who were selling the butter or the milk, they would every day discuss about, today Krishna did this, today Krishna killed this demon, today Krishna and Balaram behaved like this, today Mother Yashoda dressed Krishna like this. So they were hearing. Saying by hearing about Krishna, we developed attachment to Krishna. We started developing love for Krishna. And they came with all the bhoga and they offered it to Krishna. And Krishna and Balaram ate that very satisfied. And then Krishna said, now you go back. So Krishna, our husbands will not accept us back because we have come against their desire. Krishna said, no, you go, they will accept you. And Krishna at that time says a shloka, which same shloka he spoke to gopis when they came for Rasa Leela and they were going back. Krishna was telling them to go back. And Krishna says that you, wherever you are, you hear my pastime, you sing my glories, and that way you will be more closer to me. So these Brahman Patnis, they perform this wonderful service and they please Krishna. In few years back, there was a devotee who was a temple president in Calcutta, and in the evening time he got a call from another lady, and this lady was telling on the phone that my mother is very sick, she's a devotee of Krishna, and she may leave her body at any time. Do you have any Radha Krishna photograph in your temple? I'm sending my driver, can you please send a picture of Radha and Krishna? And this temple president immediately went looking in the gift shop, and somehow they have Radha Govindji in Calcutta, but there was no frame of Radha Govindji. Maybe everything was sold out. And then he sent Radha Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan. That frame was there. So big picture of Radha Shyam Sundar. He gave to the driver of this lady, and after a few days this lady personally came and she started talking to this gentleman, the president, that actually what picture you sent me, I put when mother was on the bed, she was very sick. So we put the picture on the ceiling so that she could constantly see Radha and Krishna. And looking at Radha Shyam Sundar, she left her body. And she wanted to give some dakshina to the temple. And then she said that actually I want to tell you something. that my mother belonged to a royal family. And when Srila Prabhupada was making Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavan, my mother had gone to Vrindavan and she met Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada asked her that can you do some service for the temple? So she said, yes Prabhupada, whatever you ask. He said, can you please donate Lakshmi for the deity of Radha Shyam Sundar? And she is the one who actually had given Lakshmi for the deity of Radha Shyam Sundar. And Radha Shyam Sundar personally came to her. Can you imagine, can it happen in a temple that you don't have your temple's photograph, devotee's photograph? So Radha Shyam Sundar personally came. Krishna never forgets any devotee performing a small seva. We had another example, in fact, you all can see the dramas on RG Media. We had a drama on Yathamam Prapadyante. That how any devotee having little bit service if they've done, Krishna reciprocates. So this gentleman, his name was Shyam Anuragi. Okay, when Prabhupada was making temple in Juhu, this particular devotee is a very famous singer. If you Google him, he has sung many Hindi film, old Bollywood songs also. But he offered Srila Prabhupada, he recorded Hare Krishna Mahamantra at that time, records, and whatever money came through that cell, he offered it to Srila Prabhupada for construction of Radha Ras Bihari. In due course of time, he was sick, he got kidney disease, and actually he had to do repeated dialysis. So he was staying next to Radha Ras Bihari, very posh area, but then all his wealth was gone. And he shifted to Mira Road. Mira Road is a suburb, away outskirt of Mumbai, where our Bhaktivedanta hospital is there. And he started staying in Mira Road, and then he started coming to Bhaktivedanta hospital for his dialysis. So when he was coming every day alternate day for dialysis, he came across the devotees, who spiritual care devotees who would talk to him, and he again reconnected with Srila Prabhupada. He started reading Srila Prabhupada's books, he started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And almost a year passed, and then was Jagannath Snan Yatra Day. So one of the devotee who had already given him beads, and she saw that his wife was sitting outside ICU, intensive care unit. So she went and asked him, what happened? Her. So she said that actually my husband is very critical and he may leave his body any minute. So immediately she was going down to get Ganga Jal and Tulsi, but she met one devotee who came from across the hospital. There is Radha Girdhar ISKCON temple, and their main deity of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. So she came with the Snan Yatra Chandanamrit of Jagannath ji, and she gave it to this spiritual care assistant that you take this. And she went into ICU and she saw this particular devotee Shyam Anuragi was leaving his body. She put the Chandanamrit through the tube, and as soon as the Chandanamrit went inside his body, the ECG lines became flat. He gave up his body. So little bit service also you do to Srila Prabhupada. The most critical time, the exam period, the final exam period of your life is death. At that time, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada personally reciprocated. So seva is very, very important. Seva to the deities, seva to the Vaishnavas. We have this famous story from South India, that there was a great devotee named Goshtipurna. Goshtipurna was actually Ramanujacharya's one of the gurus. And Goshtipurna would regularly fan Varadaraj. In South India there is Kanchi and Vishnu Kanchi, the main deity is Varadaraj, very beautiful deity of Lord Vishnu. It is the same as the Paramatma in the heart. So Goshtipurna was such an advanced devotee that every evening he would fan the deities and Varadaraj would talk to him. And one day, one of the disciples of Goshtipurna asked Goshtipurna that can you please inquire from the Lord, because he's talking to you every day, that will I go back home, back to Godhead at the end of this life? So he said, okay. And then he started fanning the Lord and he was asking, will my this disciple go back home back to Godhead? Lord says, yes. He is a wonderful devotee serving you, he will go back home back to Godhead at the end of this life. After a few days, Goshtipurna started thinking, let me ask about myself. So he asked Lord Bharadraj, my dear Lord, will I go back home back to Godhead? So Bharadraj said, no. He said, but my disciple is going, I will not go. Your disciple is serving you and you are serving me. You are serving me and I am reciprocating with you by talking to you every day. But one who serves my devotee is very dear to me. So serving Vaishnavas, serving devotees, serving other Vaishnavas in the community is very, very pleasing to the Lord. And that's where we come to the principle of how Vaishnavas are so dear to the Lord that in a community living, it is very important that we have good relationship with Vaishnavas and we have this attitude of service. Because most of the devotees, when they come to Krishna consciousness, they've given up many things, their friends, their relatives. So what we have is each other. So in a community of Vaishnavas, it is very important to make sure that devotees are happy. And when the devotees are happy, a happy devotee attracts many newcomers. Right? If you are happy, others, when they see, oh, this person is so happy because he is practicing Krishna consciousness, I also want to be like him or not. So, two principles here we are discussing: service to the Lord, seva to the devotees.
Now, I wanted to ask you one question. What gives you more pleasure, to receive something or to give something? Sorry? Be honest. You don't have to speak because you are a Vaishnava.
I'll say it, receive it.
So what gives you more pleasure? How many of you say when you receive something you get more pleasure? It's very honest. How many of you honestly feel that by giving you get more pleasure? And I think all of you are quite genuine, right? You are genuinely replying honestly. So this is the principle of Grihastha Ashram, the art of giving. So as we are talking about the same Acharya, Ramanujacharya, he had many brahmachari disciples, many, and he had many Grihastha disciples. And Ramacharya was very kind to one of his disciples named Dhanurdas. He was a Grihastha, quite wealthy, and he was quite close to him. And the brahmacharis would wonder, why is Guru Maharaj so close to this Grihastha? He has a beautiful wife, and this guy has a big house. This wife wears very opulent jewelry. I mean, why is Guru Maharaj? We are not renounced people. He doesn't spend so much time with us. So Ramanujacharya came to know about this feeling that the brahmacharis had. That they had a feeling that he is more inclined, more associated with Dhanurdas, who is a Grihastha. So he said that he told the brahmacharis, said, go and in the night go to the house of Dhanurdas, and I'm going to call him in the night for some service. And while his wife is alone, just steal all the jewelry that she has. The brahmachari, yeah, very nice. Now he explores how attached he is to his jewelry and all this stuff. So now finally Guru Maharaj knows how to behave this person. So then, as planned, they went to his house. Ramanujacharya called Dhanurdas to meet him and in the meanwhile they were gone. All the brahmacharis have their place where they hang their clothes, their dhotis and their kurtas and everything. So for those who know that there is a cloth lining. So they write their names. This line belongs to ex-brahmachari. This line. So that's how they. So what he did is he exchanged all the clothes. He put somebody else's clothes here and he just exchanged whole things. Yeah. So anyway, that was done at that end. At this end, Dhanurdas went and the brahmacharis went and the wife was sleeping. on one side, and they took all jewelry from the house and they wanted to remove. So they removed all the jewelry from her hand, and then she was turning, and they got scared. Oh my God, we'll be caught. So they ran away. Whatever they could take from one side. And then he said, Guru Maharaj, this is what we have got. And by the time Dhanudas had gone back to his house, Brahmacharya told him some service, and he went back. And the wife said, Prabhu, our Guru's ashram seems to be having some serious financial problem. So why you say that? He said, the brahmacharis had come in your absence, and they took away everything, and they took away something which I was also wearing. And then I was about to turn so that they can take the other side also. So that, but they got scared and they ran away. So while this conversation was going on, Ramacharya got the brahmacharis to hear what the conversation was going on. And they were saying, it will be a time we will be exposed, that Dhanudas will be so sad that everything is gone. But Dhanudas said, you foolish lady, in a nice way of course, he said, couldn't you have turned in a most gentle way that they were not scared, so that they could have taken everything that you had? It is the greatest fortune of our life if we can serve our spiritual master. So when the Brahmacharya heard that, they were so ashamed of the thoughts they had for Dhanudas. And then they went back and they went with their Guru and they reached their ashram and they saw, hey, this is mine. Hey, where is my dhoti? This is my dhoti. And they were arguing about dhoti. They actually were fighting with each other. So I'm not going to put the Brahmacharya ashram down or Griha ashram up, but I'm just trying to just say the point that comes through this beautiful story, that the art of giving. The Griha ashram is the art where whatever we can within our means, we should give. One person heard the importance of charity in Griha ashram, that we should be charitable. I said, but he was a very miserly person. The interesting thing is Krishna, when you talk about charity, he does not see how much you give. What does Krishna see? Anybody? He doesn't see how much you give. You give $1 million, right? Great. But you have 100 million sitting there. Krishna says, well, what about those 100 million? So Krishna is more attached to how much you, doesn't not how much you, but how much you hold back. So this person, he got inspired that I will give charity to the Lord. But sometimes in a fit of our excitement, we say, I want to give charity, I want to give this much money. But then when you come home, I say, no, how can I give so much charity? Sometimes, So then he said, you know what, I have a way. I went in front of the Lord. I said, Lord, I want to give everything to you. Why only this? I want to give everything. I will put all my money up, I'll throw it up. Whatever remains up is yours, whatever comes down is mine. So this shows, on a lighter side though, this shows how many times we Grihasthas try to cut corners in giving to the Lord. But as I asked you the first question, the pleasure of giving is much, much more than pleasure of receiving, right? So the aspect in Grihastha ashram of community living, and of course I'm telling you this because I know all of you are living by this principle, but it is just something which we want to just focus, that art of giving in charity, not just money, but whether it is money or time or energy or resources, whatever. The more you give, the more you get. It is in giving that you receive, it is in pardon that you are pardoned, it is in dying that you are born to eternal life, Jesus Christ said. So it is in giving that you receive. So the whole ashram that we are talking about, and in fact not only the ashram, but the whole purpose of spiritual life, the whole purpose of devotional service is the more you give, the more you get. That fruit vendor gave everything to Krishna in the form of fruits. And Krishna had nothing to give. He just got some small, in his tiny hand. How much can a tiny child hold in his hand? He gave that grace, and the fruit seller was so attracted to Krishna. She gave everything, all the fruits to Krishna. And what happened? Her fruits got, yes, what happened, my friend? Yes, please share. Huh?
All the other fish got cold.
What?
Gold.
Gold. Gold and jewelries and diamonds, not only gold. The whole thing became. So it's not. Now again, this is not something that we
Gold
give.
has become very expensive.
That is very good.
Diamonds are nowadays artificial diamonds also.
So you keep track of the gold price? Interesting. Yeah. So she got much more than what she gave to Krishna, right? So we are never the losers. So anyway, we'd like to just make the final conclusion statement. That I'll make that then maybe we can conclude that the whole purpose of our life is to janma sarthak kori kar par upakar. That first try to see how you can purify yourself, and then while you are doing that, not once you have done that, because there is never enough, but while you are doing that, do paropkar. Serve this human form of life is not meant for hoarding, it is meant for giving. And that is community living. Coming together and creating facilities for wonderful hearing Krishna Katha, wonderful kirtans, which all of you are having, wonderful sadhana times where you come together and chant. Immerse your mind and your senses and your consciousness in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. That in Kaliyuga, Krishna is directly present in this holy name. When you're chanting, Krishna is dancing on your tongue. You are expressing Krishna. So coming together and chanting, having nice sessions of chanting together, kirtans, hearing, prasadam sessions. And by doing this community living, not only you will be purifying yourselves, but you will be a wonderful instrument in the Lord's hands to have many more people take advantage of this rare opportunity that we have as humans to understand the purpose of our life and to purify ourselves. So let us be instruments in the Lord's hands, as I said, to purify ourselves and be instruments in the hands of the wonderful effort that is going on in this beautiful, silent, peaceful town of Crawley. I came here, I was speaking to Aniruddha, I said, there are hardly any people on the street. I said, it's a silent town, it's a peaceful town. I said, yeah, it's a beautiful place. So please, I think, all of you, it's so wonderful to see all of you taking up to Krishna consciousness. I think Shyam Gundru was saying that more and more people are attracted to Krishna consciousness, more people are coming. And I can also see so many of you, of course I came 7 years back, but I remember seeing you, I guess. You were there last year, and few of you were there. But so nice to see all of you, and of course I would like to thank Shyam Gundru for taking this wonderful lead, and doing this wonderful service in this beautiful center. Thank you once again very much. Give some last words of Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Gaur Nitai ki
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
Is that you want to take some questions?
Yeah, maybe we can take one
One
question.
question.
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody? Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Great Sridam Prabhu ki
Jai.
The great Kishori ki
Jai.
So, we'd just like to thank you both for such a wonderful class. I feel like it was such a perfect time to pitch the patronship, but probably not this time. But no, it's such a wonderful class. So it clarified so much for all of us here. We're all, going through the